Freedom is not the absence of work. Freedom is the ability to choose your work and choose to do what you love. It's possible to build a life where your practice of medicine is because you want to, not because you're suffocating under the golden stethoscope or the financial pressure to practice.
Welcome to the Physicians and Properties Podcast, the show where we teach you how investing in real estate can give you the freedom to practice medicine and live life how you want.
Doctor! 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 Doctor!
Now, here's your host, Dr. Alex Schloe.
This year, I left the Air Force, raised over $2 million for senior living projects, lost $40,000 on a development deal that taught me a lesson I'll never forget, and spent 2 months traveling with my family. Here's what I learned and how you can use it to buy back your time as a physician. Welcome back to another episode of the Physicians and Properties Podcast. Today's episode is a year in review, but this isn't going to be the fluffy kind. This is going to be educational, hopefully exciting, and most importantly, encouraging, especially if you're a physician who feels like you're doing everything right, but you're still wondering if freedom is actually possible. Because this year was the year that freedom became real for me. The single biggest thing that happened in 2025 was this. I separated from the United States Air Force after 7 years as a family medicine physician. It was an absolute honor to serve our country, and I'm truly grateful for that chapter, but I'm also grateful, deeply grateful, that through this journey towards financial freedom, I now get to practice medicine and live life the way that I want to. And that is what Physicians and Properties has always been about. And I'm grateful that I've been able to live that out. So freedom. Let's talk about what it actually looks like this year since June. Right now, I'm practicing direct primary care 2 days a week with a few PRN shifts sprinkled in here and there. Not because I have to, but because I want to. And because I genuinely love family medicine and direct primary care. I think that direct primary care is an incredible model, and I believe it is a huge part of the future of medicine in America. I'll save that soapbox for another episode, but here's my short version. Until we put primary care back at the center of healthcare, until we value prevention and relationships, I don't think that we can fix America's healthcare system. We can't even start fixing it. Direct primary care gives you that time, access, a relationship with your physician, the opportunity for prevention, and honestly, as a doctor, joy. And that's one of the big themes of this year. Freedom is not the absence of work. Freedom is the ability to choose your work and choose to do what you love. If you're listening to this and you feel trapped right now, I want you to hear this. It's possible to build a life where your practice of medicine is because you want to, not because you're suffocating under the golden stethoscope or the financial pressure to practice. After separating from the Air Force, I was able to take some terminal leave, and I still had some paternity leave saved from when Owen was born. And we did something that still feels unreal and was such an incredible experience. We spent a month camping in the camper in the Grand Tetons, Yellowstone, Glacier National Park. It was absolutely incredible. In Yellowstone, we saw every animal that you could imagine, bears, moose, tons of wildlife, and even wolf pups, which was just unbelievable. Owen even had an absolutely massive blowout while we were driving in Yellowstone and had poop all over his hands and all over his face. So there we were on the side of the road in the middle of nowhere in Yellowstone, voraciously trying to wipe away all this poop while Jack, our oldest, was sitting there eating popcorn and laughing at the situation. It was a hilarious time and something that I will never forget. Glacier National Park totally surprised us. The weather was 90 degrees, which forced us to pivot. We ended up staying in a KOA so we could hook up electricity and run the AC for our dog, and we were in the national park. And honestly, it was awesome. We were hiking during the day. We were swimming at the pool at night, ice cream with the boys. They had a little coffee shop, a restaurant, an Airstream with twinkle lights and music, live music. It was just pure joy. And honestly, it was incredible. And we started that trip in the Tetons. In fact, on the second night, we woke up to 2.5 inches of snow. So we started with 2.5 inches of snow in the Tetons, and we ended up in Glacier where it was 90 degrees. Wild contrast, but an absolutely beautiful and incredible month. I've said this before, and I'll say it again. Buying a camper has been one of the best investments I have ever made. Not financially, but in lifestyle, in quality time. Something about the proximity, the adventure, the conversations around the fire, watching the boys create their own fun outside is just absolutely magical. And when you camp for that long, you realize how little you actually need. In a 19-foot camper, you remember what matters: relationships, time together, being present, breaking bread, learning sign language, doing hard things, and seeing the world that God created. It was just absolutely incredible. So here's an encouragement, especially if you're in the grind. If you're on the fence about getting a camper or on the fence about building a life that allows you to be present with your kids, don't wait until someday. It is never going to come. So start building that asset base now so that you can buy back your time with your kids while they're still young and they still want to hang out with you. All right. After that, we continued on this absolutely epic few months, and we went to Germany and visited my brother and my niece and nephew and sister-in-law. We spent a month in Europe. It was amazing. Now, I will say, traveling internationally with young kids is interesting. The plane ride was long. The plane ride was long. And Owen got really sick the day before we left. Honestly, it kind of worked out in our favor because he slept most of the way there. But the poor guy was not doing well. But it did make the trip a little bit easier. And we just kept telling ourselves, this will be worth it. This will be worth it. And it was. It far exceeded our expectations. And traveling internationally with our boys was amazing. We explored Germany. Ruins, castles, culture, history, Wiener Schnitzel. And I'm a big fan of World War II, so that was fun too, to be in that environment and learn more and more about World War II history. And while we were there, we just spontaneously booked a trip to Malta. It was really cool. We just had a month with essentially no plans. And we booked a trip to Malta after finding really cheap airline tickets. And let me tell you what, Malta is an absolute jewel. We had amazing food. The views are gorgeous. The people were incredible. We saw the cannons go off at the fort. We did cliff jumping. And Jack, my oldest, was nervous at first. At first, when we're standing there on the cliff, he didn't want to jump. I jumped in the water and I was waiting for him. And he was standing on the edge. But then something really cool happened. People around him started cheering and encouraging him. And then he noticed a pretty girl in the water in her 20s. A little out of his league, but he decided to send it. And he jumped once, and then he jumped again and again and again. And I remember thinking, one, this is amazing that we're out here cliff jumping in Malta in this beautiful water. But also, this is life. That's real estate. That's entrepreneurship. That's everything hard. Just like Jack, you need that confidence to start. You need the courage to take the first jump. And once you do, momentum becomes your friend. We were also fortunate to spend some time in the Netherlands, and then we capped it off with both families going to Croatia together. Cousins together at the beach on the island in a beautiful place was amazing. Awesome memories. And we're already planning another trip to Europe again. So leave me a comment and let me know where you think we should go next on our next European adventure. And the point of all this is in no way look at me. Please, I don't want you to think that I am bragging about this experience. The point about this is really, this is what your assets can buy you. This is what hard work and getting started and taking that first jump can lead to over time. Not Lamborghinis, not toys. Time, presence, memories, flexibility, freedom. It is worth it. All right. Let's talk a little bit more about real estate business and investing. And first off, I must say, I am so grateful to be in this new podcast studio here in my office. My wife, Stephanie, designed this shed. You should see it on Instagram, the before and after. It is absolutely incredible. And I'm so grateful to continue the podcast here in this awesome studio that she built. So I'm really, really grateful for that. This year, I was fortunate. We had some ups, we had some downs, but mostly ups in real estate and entrepreneurship. Friends, family, listeners of the podcast, people in our network decided to invest with us again. And I was fortunate to raise a bit over $2 million this year for some incredible opportunities. And here are the highlights. I got to be involved with a 485-unit independent living development project in the Villages of Florida, 320-unit independent living development in Rockledge, Florida with the same team. We also got under contract on 10 acres of land in Winchester, Virginia, which was a development project that was going to be 4 16-bed memory care homes and potentially some independent living units. And this story is a big learning lesson because I very quickly learned that development is not a great hobby. It is a completely different sport, and there is a lot that goes into it. In fact, we spent approximately $40,000, way too much, on due diligence, architectural plans, civil engineering, pre-construction work. And I had no idea how intense pre-construction is. Horizontal construction, utilities, grading, civil engineering, entitlements, that's where you can get absolutely wrecked if you don't de-risk early. And that's something we learned. Here's what happened for our project, so hopefully it doesn't happen for you. But after doing all the due diligence and being told that septic was available, we learned that the sewer capacity for the lift station cannot be guaranteed by the city. We were told that sewer was available, but it couldn't be guaranteed. And as developers, we would be responsible for upgrading the lift station. And that also served other developments too. So this lift station served the sewer capacity in the area, and the city and the county had no intention to fix it. And this is something we found out well into due diligence after investing approximately $40,000 into this project. They said, hey, whoever is the one who tops out the sewer capacity, that is who's responsible. And so there were multiple other developers working in this area, one of them being a very large home developer, and they could not give us a guarantee on if sewer availability was going to happen. And we got quotes ranging anywhere from $20,000 to $1 million to service this lift station to make it compatible. No clarity, no guarantees, first come, first serve sewer capacity. They couldn't even give us an estimate on what would happen. So we did the math and we estimated that there was about a 90% chance that the sewer capacity needed for this project wouldn't even be there. We couldn't stomach it. And so we asked them if we could do septic. They said no, because sewer was available, even though it probably wasn't. So we walked. We abandoned the project and we ate the cost. Was this painful? Absolutely. Was it valuable? Gosh, I hope so. And I hope it's valuable for someone listening here. Investigate utilities early on before you fall in love with the property or the project, before you spend big money on other plans. Really look into sewer, water, power. What's that going to take? What's it going to cost to tap into those utilities? Because that can kill a deal faster than the building ever can. And we had done all that due diligence and told everything was available and things were on the right track. And then this last minute curveball came in. That's development for you. And that $40,000 was a very expensive tuition, but it made myself, Charlie, and Luke, the team, a lot smarter. And it's something that we very quickly learned and looked into on these other development projects. So here's some projects that we're excited about right now. So we also helped raise $1.2 million to partner with Aaron and Andrea Amin, who are members in the Row Room Assisted Living Mastermind, and they are incredible. They are building 2 16-bed memory care mansions in Tomball, Texas in phase 1, and then another 2 homes in phase 2, which is going to be incredible. And at the time of this recording on December 29th, we are all set to close on the land tomorrow. We are so excited about this project. And some of you who are listening to this podcast trusted us and invested in this project. So thank you so much for your trust. We're also working on a project outside of Springfield, Missouri. This is around 8 acres in terms of the land parcel. And this is going to be really cool. We're building a full senior neighborhood model from 55 plus independent living all the way through memory care and end of life. Phase 1 is going to be 2 16-bed memory care homes, so 32 beds total. Phase 2 is going to be another 2 homes plus a clubhouse. And phase 3 is going to be independent living townhomes. This is going to be really, really cool. Also, I invested as a limited partner in a boutique wellness hotel resort development in Florida called Bahia. And I'm really excited for that to break ground in 2026. And we're also under an LOI on a 60-bed assisted living facility in New Orleans, Louisiana, working through diligence, negotiating a workable purchase and sale agreement with a great operator, partner, in the seller. And strategically, this matters. I love assisted living. I love senior living. And we're still doing residential assisted living, the 6 to 16 beds, but we're also pursuing some larger homes and larger facilities in that 30 to 60 bed range. There's a really fantastic value add sweet spot in that range, especially if you have the right operator, because the operations are what really matter. That care that you can provide to the seniors is what really matters. The Row Room Assisted Living Mastermind has grown significantly this year. We are around 115 members, and it has been an absolute joy being part of and building this community. I mean, watching people take action, buy deals, partner together, build, renovate, lease to operators, create real impact has been incredible. I feel like at this point, every week, we're just seeing win after win after win in the community. There's been hard stuff too, but that is where being in a community of like-minded individuals really can make a huge difference. And we have members who are doing this in multiple ways. They're doing new development. They're converting single-family homes. They're buying stabilized, already operating assisted living homes and making them better. They're leasing to operators on a commercial lease. And for folks that are listening, the lease to operator model can really be a solid approach. That's how we got started with 5 lease to operator homes. And they can generate anywhere from $3,000 to $5,000 per month in cash flow, depending on the deal and the market. And this is pretty passive. You purchase the real estate, you lease that out to an operator on a commercial lease, and they run all the day-to-day care. In fact, we're building out a lease to operator academy within the Row Room Assisted Living Mastermind. We're improving the Row Room calculator. We're bringing in more expert speakers, continuing with weekly pods, member presentations, the whole thing. Oh, and we also had our first live event, which I heard was incredible. I got a few hours in and then got norovirus, spent the night in the bathroom in Phoenix, and missed the rest of the conference and the event. So I'll be back for the next one, I hope. But here's the deeper point. This community is not just about money. It is about impact. It is about providing high quality assisted living care to seniors who need it most. And the cool thing is there are so many grandmas and grandpas whose lives are going to be changed because operators and investors are building these high quality options for care. And it is so exciting to be part of the journey. Over Black Friday, I had an awesome opportunity with my buddy Brian Lubin. He hosts the Action Academy podcast. Last year, he invited me to go to Whistler for his 30th birthday. This year, he invited me to go to Cabo for his 31st birthday, and it was amazing. He was incredibly generous. He rented out these beachside villas up on a cliff in Cabo for us and about 30 of his friends. And we just had an amazing time. We learned together. We celebrated. We went on a yacht. We played golf at one of the prettiest courses in the world. And it reminded me of something that I want you to take into 2026. Get in the right room. Get around people doing things that you can't even imagine as possible, because that's going to stretch your vision. And when your vision stretches, your actions change. And when your actions change, your life changes. I would not be anywhere near in the position that I am right now if it was not for these communities, if it was not for the masterminds that I'm a part of, in the rooms that I've been so fortunate to get into. I'm so incredibly grateful for that. And I encourage you to think about what room you can get in 2026 that will help you grow and stretch and develop just beyond your wildest dreams. So let me boil this entire year down into a few lessons, especially if you're a physician on the path to freedom. Freedom, I think, really is a calendar. It's not really a number. It's not a specific net worth number. So don't just chase your net worth, or don't just chase your potential cash flow. Define your ideal week, then build assets that buy that week back. So you have your time back. So you have the freedom to practice medicine and live life how you want to. Also learn that development can destroy you if you don't de-risk early. Utilities, entitlement, sewer, water, power. Investigate all these things immediately before you really spend the real money. And the first jump is going to be the hardest. That first offer, that first deal analysis, that first conversation with an investor, that first LOI. Do it scared because momentum is going to show up after. The success is going to continue to compound after. And you're going to be so surprised when you look back in 3, 5, 7 years and see all that you have accomplished because today you decided to take action and get started. And if you want to, join a community. It's going to accelerate everything. If you want that 3 to 5 year timeline to shrink down, then join a community. If you want to grow faster, get in the room where action is normal, where people are getting after it, doing big deals, encouraging each other, and building people up. So what I'm focused on in 2026, I'm focused on my faith, my family, my relationships, my wealth, and my health. I want to keep practicing medicine part-time because I love it, especially direct primary care. But I want more flexibility. I want more adventures with my family. I want to keep growing the Row Room community. I think that mastermind is incredible. We're going to keep building real projects, keep investing, and create real care options while bringing more investment opportunities to those of you who want to be passive partners in the space. Nothing here is financial advice. It's just me sharing my journey and my story of what we're working on. But if you're interested in investing passively in assisted living or senior living or memory care projects as a limited partner, we do have some opportunities coming up. You can click the investor link in the show notes to get added to my investor list or email me at Alex, ALEX, at physiciansandproperties.com, and I'll get you connected and on that list. All right. Well, if you made it this far, I hope that your 2025 was fantastic as well. And I would love to hear what you've learned, how you've grown, what has happened in this last year. I hope this episode wasn't just a recap. I hope it gave you a little belief. I hope it gave you some encouragement and some education because I know what it feels like to just be a physician in the grind, doing all the right things, and still feeling like freedom is out of reach. But trust me, it's not. But you do have to pay the price. Time, focus, discipline, and most importantly, take action. So here's my challenge to you as we enter 2026. Take the first jump, whether that's underwriting the first deal, making one call, one offer, one step. And if you want help, if you want community, if you want a proven path, stay tuned. Because the first episode of Physicians and Properties in 2026 is going to be awesome. Hope you have a really happy new year, and thank you so much for listening. With that, I'm Dr. Alex Schloe with the Physicians and Properties podcast, signing off on 2025. See you next year. Hey, real quick, if you're still listening to this, I'm assuming you got value from it. So I need your help specifically. My 2-year vision with this podcast is to help 100,000 physicians learn how investing in real estate can give you the freedom to practice medicine and live life how you want. There are 2 main ways that a podcast grows. One is through ratings and reviews, and the other is word of mouth. If you can please leave me a 5-star rating and review on Apple Podcasts and Spotify, as well as send this to 1 to 2 friends that you think would get value from it, we can reach the physicians that we want to reach. Thanks in advance, and talk to you on the next episode. Please note that the information shared on this podcast is for informational purposes only. It should not be considered financial or medical advice. The views expressed on this podcast are those of the host and the guest and do not necessarily reflect the views of the Department of Defense or the United States Air Force.